with the U.S. as it reportedly orders Chinese airlines to stop taking deliveries of Boeing planes and to not buy the aircraft-related equipment from American companies.
China just threw a $150 billion wrench into the American aviation industry. And Donald Trump's already freaking out.
They're being imposed a tariff of up to 145%. Now, what we know this time is that the Chinese government has asked its carriers to stop taking delivery of Boeing aircraft in the meantime.
He's the one that caused this. Trump and his MAGA voters asked for this. They screamed that they wanted tariffs. They bought the delusional lie that other people were going to pay for it. Well, you know what? China decided they're not going to pay for it. And how are they not going to pay for it?
China has responded in Donald Trump's trade war, halting orders of Boeing aircraft.
They canceled back up. They didn't cancel the orders. The Chinese government told their people, you may not get any planes from Boeing.
President Donald Trump has remained firm that China must be first to step up to the negotiating table on tariffs. Beijing has reportedly blocked further deliveries of Boeing jets in retaliation to Washington, D.C.
This isn't just about airplanes. It's about how the MAGA trade war is coming back to bite the entire United States. Boeing isn't just one plant out there just outside of Seattle. Boeing is companies, plants, and subcontractors all across the United States. Your MAGA uncle's probably on Facebook right now screaming that China's attacking the United States. China didn't start this. Stop with the damn MAGA Trump victim card. MAGA and Trump started this back in his first administration. And how did it end? Trump had to get Congress to pass hundreds of millions of dollars in welfare for farmers. And that's something we need to stop calling it. It's not farm aid. It's not crop aid. It's not food assistance. It's welfare for MAGA farmers whose MAGA politics out there in red states that constantly take more from the federal coffers than they ever give back. Yet they're the ones screaming. And they're the ones cashing the welfare checks. Now, what your MAGA uncle won't say is that, once again, your MAGA uncle and all his MAGA friends with their stupid red hats and Trump and all his lies asked for this, screamed for it. If you tried to tell them that that's not how it works, they yelled at you. Well, guess what? FAFO, here's how it works. All those orders at Boeing can't be delivered. But wait. All these planes, these orders are canceled. If these planes are already built, just give them to someone else. It's not that simple. In technical terms, these planes are now whitetail. They don't have a logo painted on the back of them. That means the next customer in line could take them. But they have to want this type of plane. They have to want this seat configuration, and they probably have to know how to speak Chinese and American in the avionics and in all the signage, because that's what these things were built for, the Chinese market. So it's going to require some refitting. Okay, but what if the planes aren't built yet and they're on the production line? Well, that's actually not easier, because airplanes by Boeing aren't built one at a time. They're built in a massive production line and a supply chain that goes all across the United States. So people are building parts in certain configurations that are designed for what that carrier ordered. You can't just make a change. And every change that you do make is going to have a ripple or affect someone. What if you're a plant that makes a certain size engine and now we need a smaller engine? You're going to retool, or Boeing's not going to take your parts. Boeing has a separate contract with them. They've got to take delivery. Now parts are sitting on the ground idle. Why Boeing? Boeing's an easy target. It's like all the cuts from Canada, tourists not going to red states. Hey, China's buying massive amounts of planes. Tens of billions of dollars are at risk here. And it's not just one airplane. It's all the airplanes and all the parts and all the consulting services from the Boeing engineers to go over to give training classes, retooling, upgrades, future retrofits. This isn't just a one-time purchase. This is the next 10, 20, even 30 years versus of an impact for Boeing. And here's the other thing. China still wants the planes. They're just going to go to another company, which is going to get more orders today, more money to expand their production line, a stronger relationship with China. If this continues, Boeing should just wipe the Chinese market off their slate because they will never get back in until Trump and his cronies are long gone. All right, let's just go over the numbers here real quick. What is Boeing's backlog? About 4,500 planes. How many of them were going to China? 1,200. About 28%. That is an awful lot of Boeing's business. And that means that when Boeing loses this business, Boeing loses big. And the stock price recognizes that. This is $10 to $12 billion in annual revenue. It's $150 billion in the long term. That's a lot of Boeing employees and Boeing subcontractors that should be worried about their business and their jobs today. Hey, let's pull back for a second there, Mangione friends. This isn't just about a CEO at Boeing. This isn't just about the executives. It's about performance for this quarter and quarter after quarter for years down the road. It's about employees, jobs, subcontractors, people ordering seats, mechanics all across this country. This is a huge impact. And if you're rooting for Team Trump, you just got a huge knockdown. And what do we hear from Trump? The same racist and offensive nonsense. We still haven't heard an apology for the Chinese peasants comment. We haven't seen somebody be sent over to China to drop down to the knees and kiss the ground and apologize. We've seen none of that. And China, as they said just the other day, they've been around for 5,000 years, and they do not need the United States or its business. So let's talk about impact on workers real quick. This is one of those things that the trade war idiots, well, MAGA people, let's not call them idiots, let's call them MAGA. This is something that the trade war MAGA chanting people have been begging for, that somehow we're buying stuff from China and they buy nothing from us. Well, then you should be happy that they're not buying our airplanes from Boeing anymore. But see, that's the difference. China was buying high-tech, specialized parts, electronics, engineering, construction service on airplanes going back to China. Now that's blocked. So if you're a Boeing employee or subcontractor who's impacted by this and you're going to come onto Twitter and cry those delicious MAGA tears, please make sure you have your MAGA hat on while you do it. Because I guarantee you, somebody's going to look up your profile, find out that you rooted for Trump a few months back, and they're going to expose you. So save us the legwork and do it up front. Hey, let's be honest here. There's a downside to this for China. The downside is China's been relying on Boeing planes. They've got Boeing parts, a Boeing mechanic process, Boeing trained pilots, Boeing trained engineers. If they're switching all of their purchases over to Airbus, that's not going to be cheap. It requires a lot of retraining and retooling. But you know what? China's stance is they're going to lose right along with the U.S. and Trump. And the U.S. can't afford any losses. And it's going to hurt the U.S. far worse than it ever inconveniences China. So what is the legacy of Trump and his trade war here with China? Well, so far, it's just day after day of failure, flip-flop, people accusing Trump and his cronies of insider trading to profit off of the drops and the upswings. It's nothing good for the average American worker or any American business. It's nothing but bad for the U.S. economy. It exposes all the problems and weaknesses in the United States financial system, and it's all driven by Trump and MAGA. Congratulations.